Hi, I'm Jeremy Crosby.
And I'm Nick Boucher. We're your hosts for the program that's all about your city, Talking Fitchburg.
We pull together the news, events, and information you need to stay on top of what's happening in the city of Fitchburg.
This is your city.
Keep up with Talking Fitchburg and the issues affecting you and your neighbors.
Want to know what's happening in your city? Get Notify Me messages from the City of Fitchburg. Visit fitchburgwi.gov on your computer or mobile device and select the big Notify Me button on the left. Enter your email and/or phone number, whichever is best for you to get notifications. Scroll down the list and select all the topics you're interested in to receive email or text messages about. You'll be notified every time one of your topics is updated. Sign up for Notify Me, one more way to keep up with your Fitchburg government.
Welcome to the April 15th meeting of the Police and Fire Commission. First item on the agenda is call to order. Second item on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item on the agenda, item 3, approval of the minutes. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to review the minutes in the packet, pages I think 3 through 5.
I'll move approval. I'll move approval of the minutes.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay.
I'm abstaining
Abstaining.
because I wasn't here for a couple months.
Okay. So the ayes have it. The minutes are approved for March 18th. Next item on the agenda, item 4, public appearances for non-agenda items.
Sure. Can I speak?
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
It's your time.
Should I stay here, or where would you like me to address you?
Pull up a chair with the
Will do.
table.
Thanks, sir. Brian, right?
Brian.
I know I've spoken with Brian. This is my third time here, and Sarah. A few of you look familiar from TV and whatnot, so hello, everybody. If anybody's got any questions, I'm here for you, whether it's right now or in the future. Man, I can tell in my heart is just racing, so forgive me. Update though is I have your referrals. I've tried to reach out to Matt Leahy. He's the detective who did an investigation. And I think we can come to the conclusion he doesn't want to answer questions. And that would be the same for Emily Shunk. And I think it would be the case that we can come to that conclusion for everybody. That's just my opinion. I'm going off of people's behaviors. So with regard to Matt, no response. I'm still pro se. I'm trying to get paperwork from the court that's gone missing. So it feels good. I hate being on TV, you guys. It's like an insecurity thing. But for me to get this on TV so that the people of Fitchburg can know what's going on in this town, my God. I mean, you retire and you leave, and that problem, it's in the past. So if you guys have any questions, I'm here for you. I have been getting responses from Sarah. And that's appreciated. I started trying to reach out to Sarah in like 2018. That was before, again, the bomb testimony. For the people at home, that's B-O-M-B, bomb. Grown adults. Thinking, we'll just go into a court of law. And then we'll make a rule that he can't contact the ATF. FBI? Yeah, we don't want you done. Department of Justice? I know Mr. O'Shea. It's like, man, when I saw what was going on, it's like, these are cops. And nobody's disputed a word that I've said. And I recorded it. and nobody's gonna do a damn thing. And this is Fitchburg. Our doctors suggesting cancer. And then an adult goes into court 3 years later and gives bomb testimony. And I knew from day one, it's like, man, they're trying to intimidate me. And nothing intimidates me more than a cop. So if you guys ever have any questions, I'm just here once a month. If you have a quorum, fine, I'll show up. I'll go through with it. And I'll do prison. That's not a fun place. I mean, and the world, you want to go to prison. You don't want to go to Dane County Jail. You don't want to be sent up to Oneida for 5-6 months. You want to go to prison. I didn't know anything about this, you guys. This entire system of people that get sent to Waupun and then they get farmed out. I talked a little about it with you, Brian. It's like, man, I kind of, after a while, when I saw what was going on, the intimidation, the lying, felonies, it's like, bring it on. Send me to prison. Create more culpability. So I'm on Twitter. Everybody out there in Fitchburg, I'm on Captain Caveman. Because they're going to send more cops at me. It doesn't matter that Jeff retired. And they're not letting me overturn this. The court won't even let me hand a document saying, can I please have a hearing? Exculpatory evidence is in the hands of Fitchburg police. And I've been telling Sarah this since 2000 and I don't know, I haven't gone through my records. So Sarah, thank you for your response and thank you for this opportunity. I've gone way over. But I'm determined, I'm a badger. You guys can beat the living crap out of me. I'm doing the Fight Club thing. So, hey, go blue, and I'm here for you guys. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Sorry, man, you guys, I'm nervous. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda. Item number 5, report from Police Department. 5A, staffing report.
Good afternoon, everyone. We'll start with the staffing report. For vacancies, we have currently 6 open positions, 1 captain position, 1 sergeant position that will be filled in August, and 4 police officer vacancies. We have gone through 2 processes this late winter and early spring. And we do have some candidates that we'll be discussing later in closed session. As far as what we have currently in for unfilled positions, we have 9, 2 on leave, current leave, and 1 at the academy that'll be graduating at the end of May. So we'll at least have 1 in training for the summer. And looking at what we've potentially might be having from our recent hiring processes, what this means that we potentially be getting close to some full staffing levels by the end of the year. Off probation next spring or next year, but at least where we can start filling in where they're working and on their own. So even though these deficiencies, and you're going to see in some of our activity reports some changes, some fluctuation, we feel pretty confident that we're going to be getting close again by the end of the year. Any questions? Okay, for activity, I brought this up before, but this entire year is going to be a little bit of a adjustment. And today at our command staff meeting, we did already learn some things that we can do with our dispatch. When we lost dispatch services here in the fall of last year, the way calls for service are coming in are different. For example, if an officer says, put me out for monitoring traffic at this intersection, that's when you'll see an officer parked and monitoring or even doing radar. The dispatcher at county will put you out and send somebody else to an assignment. And that what normally is done is the dispatch would tell, our local dispatcher would know that they're available and would dispatch them to an assignment anyway. So through the confusion, the officers decided not to put themselves out at that intersection for the call for service, and it wasn't being populated in our numbers. So our officer-generated calls for service dropped. The citizen-generated calls for service, there was a discrepancy in there as well, as we still respond to a 911 hang-up. A 911 hang-up sometimes never gets dispatched when you're going through county. So there's discrepancy in those calls, and we're trying to fix those things with our county dispatch. Growing pains, it's a transition. There's nothing to be alarmed about, but the numbers aren't going to be accurate until we get a full year and find ways to let the dispatcher know. There are codes that we can create to say, for example, put me 10-7 at this intersection or this block, which can kind of tell the dispatcher, okay, they're out, but they're available if a call comes. So we can still count our activity. We're also going to do other measures where we're as we move forward and we get our mid-management staff in, where we can also see our unobligated time and see what we're doing with it. There's no such thing as quotas, and we don't do that, but I do want to see time for community purposes, how much time we're spending engaging in the community. If the calls are low, who are we talking to? Are we stopping by at our gas stations to engage in communication with our tenants? The tellers. Are we, stopping at a tavern, checking up at the, what the license is? Are we just stopping and talking to people playing in the playground? Those are also calls for service that we can document. So we're playing a bigger role with our data-driven push. We do have the matrix to do those things. We just got to get our mid-management people trained and get that stuff in a position where we can start populating them and put that in data for show. So you see, citizen-generated calls for service did increase. Officer-initiated calls for service did increase from the prior month, but as you can see, as last year, they still decreased, and that's because we're still working those things out. Violent crime. I'm sure you all heard about the homicide that occurred outside of City Hall. It was a pretty graphic and horrific scene. The subject, which is being, vetted for his mental health status, as a person that was actually outside of City Hall for quite some time before that incident occurred, before he killed that individual. And he was also, his target was the police department. So that's the piece. I wish he would have engaged with us before the pedestrian on the bicycle. He was looking for us, at least we can defend ourselves. And it just so happened that our officers were out on the street. There was nobody in the building. We do have video footage of him circling the City Hall and knocking outside of the police station to get in. But he was looking for us. It's unfortunate that he didn't at least get to see us versus that individual. It's all unfortunate. But he's charged with first-degree intentional homicide and some other things. And now it's in the court's hands. We had one burglary for the month. 4 vehicles were reported stolen. Our shots fired gun-related crime, it's pretty consistent as last year. Our domestic violence are also consistent with last year. So what I look forward, if you want to look at some of the notable events, that's for you to read. But if you go to the graphs for our reportable our violent crime, don't be alarmed by the red. It's all consistent. I mean, if you're a number off for our first quarter numbers, they're not as concerning as it may show. However, the numbers that reach out to me is theft from auto. Those numbers are pretty high. You can see that our high month was in February. We do work with our county partners, other law enforcement jurisdictions within the county, to identify when we have a a string of these things going on to address them. They've come down in March, but we're still gonna monitor that to make sure we got the right people. The other number is aggravated assaults. We are up. The reason why I looked at that is if you look at shots fired and domestic cases, that's still bringing us consistent with last year. Last year we had a very, very low number in both. So we're trending in the same direction. So why would the aggravated assaults go up? We had a handful of cases in the past month that aren't normal. There are random cases, but it's not often. And there was a incident between two individuals that resulted in a stabbing, a couple of battery cases that normally aren't happening. It just all happened in 1 month, which is showing us the aggravated assaults number a little bit higher, but we're gonna monitor that. Hopefully the next month will show that our shots fired and our domestics, which I indicated we do focus on, we'll bring those numbers back down and continue to trend like we did last year. Traffic hashes, that's another thing. Actually told the mayor, when people are complaining to you or the alders, this is a good part to look at. My first time in 5 years, if you look at those numbers, we're trending in the right direction. And that's good to see. This one, if there's any credit, and as I indicated to her, what you want to do in these is give credit to the plan that is here at Fitchburg. It's a three-pronged approach. It's through education, through engineering, and enforcement. So our city engineers are involved in this when they're designing the streets, our messaging, and the postage of, I've seen in the last 5 years an increase, and you were part of that with the signage that's out there that lets you know what your speed is. Our traffic studies still show that the traffic in the area isn't a lot of speeding. It's not there like some people say it. Not saying that there aren't people that are speeding, we're stopping them. But it's just the increase in congestion due to the increase in population where you get your complaints. But I'm very happy to see that for the first time in 5 years. Finger crossed, it's just the first quarter. But if we continue to trend the rest of the year, that'll be a big plus for the city of Fitchburg. It's the reduction in the crashes. So that's for all of us to kind of monitor for the next 3 quarters. And I hope I didn't jinx us. So we'll knock on wood for that. And you go traffic monitoring and traffic stops. Again, we had a very positive year in our enforcement. It's dropped down due to some staffing issues. We're hoping that we can trend it back up with hopefully some bringing our staffing levels back up by the end of the year. Any questions?
No, just a quick comment. When you're looking at the totals, the 2025 year to date, they don't calculate to how many you have for those months.
Yes, so the 2025 to the 2026, that's year to date, so they do.
No, if you do like say abductions.
Yes.
Said the total says it was 1 in 2025. But if you look across the months, there's more than 1. It's just a calculation, probably the formula in the spreadsheet.
No, there was 1 in March of 2025.
But there was 2 in April, there was 1 in June, 1 in May.
Those are not counted yet, because this is for March.
I'm looking at 2025.
Year to date, 2025.
It says there was
March.
1.
It's just looking at the first 3 months of 2025.
March
Year to date to year to date, so it's apples to apples, I think is what they're doing.
Okay, maybe a little comment across the top to say per time period. You know, the same period, because I was trying to add it up, but.
The one thing we are missing is the total at the bottom, so it shows the total year to date last year versus year to date this year.
Okay.
We are gonna add those at the end of the for the next.
Okay, for the same period, 26, same period. So maybe just same period might help. Because I was like, oh, we only have 1, now it's 2, then I looked and I was like, it doesn't equal it. And I didn't see a note to say same period or something like that.
Okay.
I've been out a couple of months, so.
Chief, you mentioned how the traffic monitoring and traffic stops are down. Some of the impact is due to staffing.
Yes.
Right? So as you ramp staffing up, where would we see an offset? So as traffic stops and monitoring, let's say theoretically goes up, back up again over time as you hire, will we see a benefit to the increase in staffing and the increase in monitoring and stops somewhere else in the data?
Yes, you would be seeing it. The increase in staffing, you should see it here. We had, there was a number of different things that were going on. Last year, there were several officers that were starting to be released to work on their own. So as part of the training, they're doing a lot of traffic monitoring, a lot of traffic stops for the repetition while they have somebody watching them. That's going to naturally increase the numbers, which we're going to end up doing that again, and that will bring that piece up. The monitoring was not being recorded after the fall. We got rid of dispatch because the dispatchers at county were taking us out of service. When you're monitoring, you're still in service. If something happens in your area, you still get pulled. However, we weren't being pulled, so we took those off. So that's going to be another offset that you're going to notice there, an increase. And two of our officers that are normally our high traffic stop producers for the first shift, one of them was off doing training for the greater part of last year. And what I mean by training is actually on a special assignment, I should say. He was off on a special assignment for actually more than 6 months, and the other one is off on medical leave. So that naturally, with those two producers, the numbers dropped. One of them's back, the other one is not back yet. That's one of them that's off on leave. But yeah, you should start seeing an increase, and you will see it by the month there. Did I answer your question?
Kind of. I was thinking, for instance, you would say something like crashes. We expect to see a reduction if you're stopping more cars like OWI and things like that. I was just kind of curious of where we would likely see the offset and reduction in crimes as a result of doing more monitoring stops.
I was monitoring our traffic activity for the last 5 years. This is the first quarter that I see them going down. They hadn't gone down the prior years. So I would like to see that consistency with the accidents. And that's why we can't just say that traffic stops are reducing accidents. It's got to be the entire effort, because we haven't seen it in 5 years. And that was one of the things that we've been pushing. So to your response and on traffic accidents, this is the first quarter that we see it. That's why we're paying attention to it, because I've tried to see that and it wasn't happening. In fact, at the beginning of this year, what I wanted to do is the people, the community might be a little upset, but I wanted to use data at where our crashes are at to do our traffic activity, not necessarily to do our traffic where the complaints are coming from. Because most often the complaints are happening, it's kind of like your squeaky wheel is getting the grease, but you're not really addressing the problem. And that's what we started to do this year, is looking at where the actual larger number of accidents are happening. So we're still working on that. I don't have that correlation for you yet, but we are trying to figure it out.
Interesting enough, I saw an article where some cities are using cameras to catch people going by school buses. Mm-hmm. And that data is showing that that is not having a positive effect on number of citations written. Right. So like what you're saying, I mean, it could be no matter what you do, right. Nothing may happen. Mm-hmm. And I mean, people should know that you don't pass a school bus with a, arm out, but it's not working.
The results on our Fahey Glen is an area that we had a large complaint number coming in. And the data shows that everybody's within that less than 10 miles. We only had one vehicle that went very excessive, and based on the timing and all that, although there was no video, it was probably a squad car responding to an emergency. Because with the high speed, other than that, it was just one vehicle in that period of time. Otherwise, you're only going to have a couple of cars that are exceeding. And the other thing that we often tell the residents is the residents themselves that live there are the ones Speed them
Get
Absolutely.
home for something.
Absolutely.
Most comfortable.
Yes.
Is there an average by population of crashes, do you know?
I don't have that number.
They seem so low to me,
Yes.
which it feels like we're doing good, I don't know what the average is.
That's a number that stood out, and one that, when I go over this with the mayor, she goes over it line by line by line. And so we're both very well versed when we do this. That's the one that I'm paying attention to right now. Obviously, if I see something, the red doesn't scare me right now, except for the type of crimes that I spoke about, the theft from auto. The egg assaults we can explain for right now. But if we see what we don't want is those to get out of control. So if we continue to see the rise, we have to do something about it. And as far as our traffic crashes, I do want us to ensure that we're getting out there, that we're being visible, that we're doing traffic enforcement, but also see if that number stays where it's at, meaning trending down. That'll be a good positive for the end of the year.
Any other questions for the chief?
None here.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, 5B, closed session. I will move us into closed session. Pursuant to section 19.85, subsection 1, subsection C, Wisconsin statutes, the commission will move into closed session for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any type of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, more specifically to make conditional offers to police officer candidates, notice the commission of 2 resignations, and to authorize the start of a captain process. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, move into closed session, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. We are in closed session. Okay, we are back in open session. Are there any actions that need to be taken based on items discussed in closed session?
I make a motion authorizing the chief to start a selection process for the position of captain.
I second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right.
I will move to authorize the chief to make conditional offers of employment to 3 police officer candidates.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Any discussion? None. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Both of these motions pass. Congratulations, Chief.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You want these back?
Yeah, thank
Okay, continuing to move along the agenda. The next item on the agenda is 6A, staffing report from the fire department.
All right, so looking at the staffing by position chart, you'll see that we have a full career staff. We've dropped a few in our POX staff. We'll also see that number drop a little bit again as we have 2 POX members and an intern that have received full-time offers for another career fire department in Wisconsin. So we'll talk a little bit more in closed session about what I want to do about that. And then we are dealing with an injury in FMLA right now, which leads us into firefighter overtime. So we have 1 person out on FMLA, 1 person was injured, career staff members. So you see in March, we have a pretty high overtime number. And then below that, you'll see the mandates are much higher than normal as well. A lot of that is due to those 2 situations and having some more challenges as you see the specific mandates to the right, the number of mandates, those are all predominantly skilled positions, which with our turnover, we're trying to catch up with getting people able to drive the apparatus as well as functioning as a company officer or lieutenant on the apparatus. So it's driving a lot of our mandatory and a lot of our overtime on the career side. You'll see the chart next to the overtime hours of the numbers that we have so far. That's roughly 50% of our overtime budget in 3 months. That's gonna get rough. We're working on strategies for that, and I'll keep you posted on that. About some things we can do and levers we can pull. That'll keep going. One positive highlight I want to show you is the training hours over here. And I think the chief can agree with me that we have a acquired structure, Bowman Plaza, which is where the old Pancake Cafe was, or Extreme Pizza, which I never experienced myself, but I'm told it was good. And we have gotten that structure for like a month and a half now, and they just extended it out for another month and a half for us to pretty much train in any way we like in that building, and eventually we'll be able to do fully destructive training, which is very rare in a building like that to have that opportunity. So between law enforcement, ourselves, our partner agencies, we're probably using that building every single day, and it's just been great for our training. So that's definitely a highlight, and I think in April you'll see those numbers much higher than that actually. So it's been a really good for us. As far as activity, calls were right about on average of last year. We did respond to 2 structure fires, but nothing of significance there. But we were classified as fires. But yeah, so that's staffing and activities for us.
Any questions for Chief? I have one question. Your staffing challenges, does it also, and I'm sure every situation different, but under your current staffing challenges, does that create imbalances between the firehouses? Like, do you have to move staff around when you have?
Yeah, every day, and then sometimes midday for half a shift here, half a shift there, especially to cover those skilled positions. Our career overtime is really high right now to cover those career positions. Our POEC numbers aren't like vastly down from our average, but it's the skilled part of that, whether it's driving or acting as the lieutenant, where it's very challenging. So that's where you're seeing us mandate a lieutenant or a firefighter that's cleared to act as a driver. And then I guess one of the only negatives of hiring our intern staff or some POX staff is that they're younger, they may not have as much time on, and they don't have either of those skills yet. And they're coming in as career firefighters. And the firefighter that's on the engine, obviously they're with the lieutenant, they're typically the driver. So if they're not yet qualified, we're having to overtime a career member into drive, which causes the overtime, right? And usually at night we do have paid on-call drivers or 2 different officers available. But those are the challenges. That's the constant movement. We do a morning briefing every morning, and I can't tell what shift's on by the people in the room, which is kind of odd because we're doing so much moving around. So, but I mean, applaud my folks because they're stepping up. Although, time and a half is nice, it definitely takes away from your personal life. And, when you do that consistently, there's a lot of burnout and, stuff like that. We're definitely seeing some of that, talking a lot about it. I think that's a big change is that in law enforcement and in the fire service, we're talking about all that stuff openly now instead of gutting everything and trying to be the tough person, right? So I think that helps, but it doesn't fix the problem, which hopefully we can keep working towards a more permanent solution here over the next several years.
Question, so is it a staffing issue or is it a specialized position issue that more people need to be trained up?
I think it's a turnover issue.
Turnover.
In catching all of that. which the turnover leads to lack of skilled position, in promotions, right? And great opportunity, but we have a catch-up period to make. It just seems to be, everybody right now is hiring as well in the state. So, you know, most of our paid on-call folks, as well as our interns, I mean, their goal is to get a career job full-time. So it's that positive negative that I've talked about in the past, where we obviously are gonna support them and trying to get them there, right? But it definitely leaves a hole. So, so I would say turnover is the big challenge. But we don't, like Sarah will tell you, we don't have a bunch of forced resignation, termination, right? It's all, most of them are either for really positive things or they're actually retiring as a paid on-call person. So that isn't the issue. We're having bad people. It's just they're getting opportunities.
And did the driver get paid a little bit more, or just for like being able to operate all the stuff on the truck?
On the paid on-call side, they do. There's incentive for certification pay. At the career side, that's an expectation of a career firefighter. And there's actually a timeline with that too for them to get certified.
I was just thinking, like, if it's a premium paid job, you know.
I know, so for the paid on-call folks, they need to get comfortable. Obviously, they're not working with as much frequency. So we are, a little bit, we'll talk about closed session about some of the strategy with that too.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Let's keep moving to item 6B, closed session. Pursuant to section 19.85, subsection 1, subsection C, Wisconsin statutes, the commission will move into closed session for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. More specifically, to notice the commission of a retirement, hire off of the existing lieutenant eligibility list, and hire off of the existing career firefighter eligibility list.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor of moving to closed session, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. We're in closed session.
Where they're from, there's a way to go to find it.
The commission is back in open session. Are there any actions to be taken based on items discussed in closed session?
Yes. Motion to promote Alex Wickman from firefighter to lieutenant.
Second. It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, item 7, announcements. Are there any announcements? Hearing none, we will move to the final item on the agenda, item 8, adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved in second. Any discussion? All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. We're adjourned.